Hello students, today we will discuss about the first chapter of your Hornbill book, that is the Portrait of a Lady, and it is written by Khushwant Singh. So let's move on to the background of the chapter. The Portrait of a Lady, it is a part of an autobiography by Khushwant Singh himself. In this story, the author draws a pen portrait of his grandmother. He beautifully unfolds their relationship and how it undergoes many kinds of changes. In other words, the story is a loving tribute from a grandson to his grandmother. The story gives a picture of human relationships, and it is a realistic account of how the grandparents give all their time, attention, and love to their grandchildren. So let's move on to the characters. So there are only two characters in the story. First is the grandmother of the author, and second the author himself. So the grandmother of the author is presented here as she was very kind lady. She was a short, fat, and slightly bent due to her age. Her face was wrinkled and she was always dressed in spotless white clothes. In the village, she took care of all the needs of the author when the author was a child. Next character is Khushwant, he himself. He recounts his childhood days and his relationship with his grandmother. So let's move on to the explanation of the chapter. The author recalls his grandmother as a very old lady. For the 20 years the author had known his grandmother, he had found her old and wrinkled. There was no change in the appearance of the grandmother. It was hard for him to believe that she had once been young and pretty, and she had also a husband. Kushwant Singh's grandmother told him about the grandfather's portrait that was hung on the wall of the drawing room. He wore a big turban, his clothes were loose, he looked at least 100 years old. Looking at his portrait, anyone could not imagine him in his youth with his wife and his children. He was only as looking as he had lots of grandchildren. The author did not think that his grandmother was very pretty at the time of her young age. She used to tell the author the stories of lords and prophets and etc. and etc. She was a short and fat and slightly bent in the stature because of her age. She was too old. Her face was a crisscross of wrinkles. Her silvery white hair was scattered over her wrinkled face. The author said that she was looking same from last 20 years to him. The author remembered her hobbling around the house in the spotless white cloths with one hand resting on her waist to balance her stoop and the other hand busy counting the beads of her rosary, her lips constantly moving in inaudible prayer that could be not heard. To the author, she could never have been pretty, but she reflected a divine beauty. She was the winter landscape in the mountains. The author and his grandmother were good friends. His parents left him to stay with her when they shifted to the city. In the village, his grandmother took care of all his needs. She was quite active and agile. She used to wake him up in the morning and get him ready for the school. She said her morning prayers in a sing song manner while she bathed and dressed him in the hope that her grandson would learn them by heart. The author listened to the prayers because he loved her voice but never bothered to learn them. Then she would fetch his wooden slate, which she had already washed and plastered it with yellow chalk. She would take an earthen ink pot and a reed pen and tie them in a bundle and hand it over to the author. After having a thick stale chapati, with a little butter and sugar spread on it for the breakfast they used to leave for the school. The author's grandmother always accompanied him to the school as it was attracted to the attached to the temple. The priest the priest taught children the alphabet and morning prayer. The children sat in two rows in the veranda. They would sing the alphabet or the prayer in a chorus. While the author learned his lessons at the school, the grandmother would read scriptures in the adjoining temple. On their way back, they would feed the stale chapatis to the dogs on the road. Next, the turning point that came in their relationship that they moved to the city to stay with Khushwant Singh's parents. In the city, the author went to an English school in a motor bus. The grandmother could not accompany him to the school. As there were no dogs in the streets, the grandmother to feeding the sparrows. As the years rolled by, they saw less of each other. And then, in spite of her immense interest in his studies, she could not help him in his lessons as he was learning English, the law of gravity, Archimedes' principles, and many more such things that she could not understand, and this made him this made her grandmother very unhappy. Sometimes she would ask him what the teacher had taught him. Grandmother didn't believe in the things taught at the English school and was distressed to learn that there was no teachings about God and the scriptures in the school. Moreover, she was very disturbed at the idea of music lessons being given to the English schools. To her, music had a lewd association and she considered music to be the unsuitable for gentle folk. The common link of friendship between the author and his grandmother was broken when the author went to the university and was given a room of his own. The grandmother accepted her loneliness and rarely spoke to anyone. All day long, she sat spinning the wheel and reciting her prayers. Only in the afternoon, she relaxed for a while to feed the sparrows. They perched on her shoulders and even on her head, but she never shooed them away. It used to be the happiest half an hour of the grandmother. The author decided now to go to abroad for her higher studies. For his higher studies, for 5 years. He was sure that his grandmother would be upset at his departure, but she was not even sentimental. She came to the railway station to see him off. She showed no emotions. She was absorbed in praying and counting the beads of her rosary. Silently, she kissed the author's forehead. The author thought that perhaps it was the last sign of physical contact between them because he was not thinking to meet her again in her life. In her life. After 5 years, the author found his grandmother at the station when he returned. She held him in her arms. She found her more religious and more and self-contained. He could hear her reciting prayers, and even that day, the happiest moment for her was feeding the sparrows herself. However, something strange happened to her in the evening. For the first time, she did not pray at the evening time. Instead of doing that, she collected the women of the neighborhood, got an old drum, and started to sing song of homecoming the warriors. The all women tried to persuade her to stop to avoid overstraining herself, but she didn't listen to them. She fell ill the next morning. The grandmother was diagnosed with a mild fever by the doctor, but she insisted that her end was near. She told everyone that she did not want to talk to anyone and would rather spend her last moments praying. She ignored anyone's protest. She ignores anyone's protest and started counting the beads in her rosary while praying. After a short while, the author noticed that his grandmother's lips stopped moving and the rosary fell from her lifeless fingers. She was died in a peaceful death. She was covered with a red shawl, and when the author and others came to take away the grandmother's body, they met a strange sight there. To mourn her death, a lot of sparrows had surrounded the grandmother's body. They were all silent, and when the author's mother offered the sparrows some bread, they refused to eat and quietly flew away after the grandmother's body was being carried for the last rites. And the main points of the chapter are: number one is when the author Kushwant Singh, he was a little child, her parents left him in the village with his grandmother and went to live in the city. Next point is the author's grandmother was an old lady. She was very religious. The author shared a very close bond with his grandmother. When the author's parents were well settled in the city, he and his grandmother also went to the city. It proved a turning point in their relationship. In the city, Kushwant Singh attended an English school and traveled in a motor bus. He learnt English words and topics of Western science. The grandmother could no longer accompany him to his school nor help him in his studies. However, they shared the same room. When the author went to the university, he was given a separate room. Thus, the last link between their relationship was broken. The grandmother kept herself busy in her prayers and spinning of the wheels. Her favorite part of the day was feeding the sparrows for half an hour. The author, when he went to the abroad for higher studies, the grandmother came to see him off and at the station, but she showed no emotions and was not even sentimental. When he came back after 5 years and was received by his grandmother at the station, she was unchanged and did not look a day older. In the evening time, the grandmother did not pay any instead pray, and instead of doing that, she collected the women of the neighborhood and celebrate the grandson's homecoming. The grandmother fell after that incident and she knew that her end was near now. She stopped talking and closed her eyes. She was lost in her prayers and counting the beads of rosary, and suddenly the rosary fell down and her lips stopped moving, and everyone knows that now she was dead. Thousands of sparrows assembled in the room and sat quietly to mourn her death. They did not even eat the crumbs given by the author's mother. After the grandmother's body was taken for cremation, the sparrows flew away silently. That was the love of sparrows to the grandmother of the author. And thank you now. I hope you will all understand the chapter.